This lesson is about a number of formulas that we commonly use in algebra. The first one is about the area and the perimeter of a rectangle. So let's say this is a rectangle and the length of the rectangle is L and the width of the rectangle is W. Then the area of the rectangle, which is the size of this surface here, that's the area, is width times length. And the perimeter, which is this length plus this width plus this length plus this width, is 2 length plus 2 width. That's because we are adding 2 length and 2 width to get the perimeter. We also have 2 formulas for the area and for the perimeter of a triangle. Okay, let's say this is a triangle. The length of this side is A, the length of this side is C, and the length of this side is B. And if we drop a perpendicular from this vertex to B, then we have this height, which we represent with H. Then the area of the triangle is base, which is the B, times height over 2. And the perimeter would be just A plus B plus C. That's the sum of the 3 sides. In a right triangle, so let's say this is a right triangle, this side is A, this side is B, and this side is C. In a right triangle, we have this relationship between the sides. C squared is A squared plus B squared. This formula is known as the Pythagorean formula. And in a circle of radius r, the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, and the area of the circle is pi r squared, where pi is a constant. That's about 3.14, and you can get pi from your calculators. And r is the radius. So these are the formulas that we very often use in the problems of an algebra. Next we're going to look at solving for one particular variable. Imagine I have this formula: A equals 1 over 2 h b plus b, and I want to solve for h. So what does this mean? Solve for h. Solving for h is the same as isolating h. So I need to isolate h. Then the first thing I need to do here is to multiply both sides of this equation by 2, because I have a denominator of 2 here. By multiplying both sides by 2, I get rid of this 1 over 2. What do I get? I get 2a equals 2 times 1 over 2 h b plus b. Then if I multiply this 2 by this 2 here, by this 1 over 2 here, they cancel each other, and I am left with h b plus b. And then my next step would be to divide both sides of this equation by b plus b so that h is completely isolated. So I divide both sides by b plus b. I get 2a over b plus b equals hb plus b over b plus b. Now this cancels this and h is now isolated. So h equals 2a over b plus b. So that is solving for a particular variable. Here we have four variables. We have a, h, uppercase b, lowercase b, and we are solving for h. So that's solving for one particular variable. Let's use the same formula, but this time we're going to solve for lowercase b. So a is 1 over 2 h b plus b, and this time we want to solve for lowercase b. Okay, the beginning is the same. I need to multiply both sides by 2. I get 2a equals h times b plus b. Next I need to divide by h because I need to get rid of this h on this side of the equation because I want to isolate b. I don't want anything on this side except b. So I divide by h. I get 2a over h is b plus b. Then my next step would be to move this b here to the left, and then b would be isolated. So it's 2a over h minus uppercase b equals b, and now b is completely isolated. Okay, let's look at one more example. In the formula a equals 1 over 2 bh, find b if a equals 450 and h equals 9. So how do you solve a problem like this? So you're given a formula and you know the value of all the variables except for one. So you know the value, there are three variables, a, 450, b and h. B you don't know the value for, but for h you know the value, and that is 9. So whenever you have a formula of two or more variables and you know the value of all the variables except for one of them, then you can isolate that variable. Then by plugging in the values or by assigning values to the known variables, you can find the value of your unknown. So what does this mean? Here I need to find b. So what I do is I'm going to first isolate b. I multiply both sides by 2. I get 2a equals bh. Then in order to isolate b, I need to divide both sides by h. I get 2a over h is b. Okay, so as you can see, b is 2a over h. Now I just need to replace a with its value, that's 450, and replace h with its value, that is 9, and then calculate the value of b. So b equals 2 times 450, that is a, over 9, giving me 900 over 9, which is 100. And that's it for formulas.